Hello and welcome to the channel. This week, March 1 through 7th, is the National Lawnmower Maintenance Week. It's a good time of the year to dig out your lawnmower, take a look at it, make sure everything's okay. If something's broken on it, you can get the parts ordered and get it fixed before the lawn actually starts to grow. I live up here in the Midwest, so lawn mowing is a good 6 weeks away, but I know there's other parts of the country you guys are just about ready to mow lawn. So let's get started.
Down in the dirt. Been real bad.
Toro makes an engine maintenance kit for your different mowers. This one's for a Time Master. They also have it for the Recycler series, your zero turns, all of your residential products. So it comes with engine oil, fuel treatment, spark plug, air filter, and this Time Master actually has a pre-filter too. So I'm going to go ahead and dig it out. There's the pre-filter, spark plug, oil, sample for the fuel treatment, fuel stabilizer, and an explanation about the fuel treatment, and an air cleaner. So we're going to take a few minutes to look over this mower, see what needs to be done to it, change these items out, and get it all ready for spring. This mower is a little dusty from sitting in the shed all winter. I have a pretty simple way of cleaning these mowers, and I also do it with the snow blowers. I don't use pressure washers on them. Mainly, I never use pressure washer on the deck because most of the pressure is too strong and you can get water forced into your sealed bearings. So what I use is scrubbing bubbles. I spray down the mower with the scrubbing bubbles, leave it set for about 15 minutes, and then I just take the garden hose and spray it off. Sometimes I'll need to have a cotton rag to wipe off some of the spots, like grass that's really sticking bad to it. Otherwise, it always comes out clean and it's nice and shiny when it's done. So if you look at all of the machines that I have around here, when I'm talking about them and they're nice and shiny, that's how I get them shiny, is with scrubbing bubbles. It's very simple and it never affects any of the plastic or paint or anything like that. So first thing I'm going to do with this one is change the oil. As you probably know by now, these single-cylinder engines on mowers don't have an oil drain on the bottom of them anymore. Briggs & Stratton told me years ago when they stopped putting oil drains on the bottom, I asked them, why did you take it off? And they says, well, half the problems that we have with our engines are people don't change the spark plug or they have old fuel in it. The other problems is they mess up the drain plug. The easy way is just not to put the drain plug anymore on it. If you take this to a shop, they use a little hose and suction to take the oil out. For us, the easy way to do it is to just take your dipstick out and tip the machine over and let it drain out. Okay, give that a few minutes to drain. Don't use your wife's baking dish. This happens to be an old baking dish of mine that I use out here. It holds a little bit over a quart of oil, so I can use it for both mowers like this and for the riding lawnmowers. And since it's a good old steel pan with a little coating on it, it does clean up real well. A lot of your Toro mowers, you can tip the Handle straight up. That works really good for tipping them over on the side like this. This doesn't hurt your engine. The way the carburetors are set up today now, gas won't leak out of these lawnmower engines this way. And I don't have hardly any fuel in this one anyway. I'll eventually go ahead and drain this fuel and then put fresh spring mix fuel in it. The only thing I have right now sitting around is the winter mix, so I'm not going to start it today. But while we got it tipped on its side, let's take a look and see what other things we can do. So let's take a look at a couple things on your mower that you probably should take a look at here in the springtime so you don't have any problems during the summer. Most of your self-propelled units, like the personal pace and the single speed ones, they use a separate belt to drive the transmission back here. So this belt right down there is the one that drives the transmission. You can sometimes see that when you have the mower tipped up. This Time Master, it's real easy to see. There might be a plastic cover that runs, or a cover on the top of the mower deck itself to take off. Take a look at this. You want this belt to be nice and smooth with no real rough edges to it or no shredding on it. And they do last a long time, and they're fairly easy to replace. If you do need one, you can go to your local dealer and get one ordered. Make for sure you bring your model and serial number along. Or you can go to Toro.com, go to the parts area, put in your model number, your machine, and parts listings will pop up, and you can order a belt there. So this, the Time Master actually has 3 belts on it. It has the drive belt for the transmission, it has the drive belt for the blade clutch, and then it has a tooth belt for running the 2 blades. The 2 blades are timed together. With the Time Master, there is a little bit of overlap with the blades, and since they sit side by side instead of at an angle like some of the other machines, they use a time deck. So on the Time Master, you have to pull a cover off the top, and I'm not going to do that in this one. We'll keep this one short. So moving on, since we got it tipped up, let's take a look at the bottom here. This looks pretty good. There's a little grass built up, and the blades are really good shape. I'm letting my local benevolent society use this to mow their lawn now. And I've got a older guy who really likes this machine, and it's about 3/4 of an acre of lawn, and he takes good care of it. He doesn't hit anything with it. These blades are all nice and even, and they're actually sharp because these blades probably only got about 10 hours on them. If your blades are wore, they got nicks in them and stuff like that, if they got really bad nicks in them, go ahead and buy a new set of blades. If they're wore a little bit and you want to sharpen them, if your blades edges are wore pretty bad and you want to sharpen them, I don't always recommend that you use a grinder. You can bring them into the Toro dealer and they'll sharpen them for you. A regular 4-inch high-speed grinder, most people tend to hold that on the blade too long, and it takes the hardening out of the edge of the blade. Myself, with these, if I was going to take them off, I would touch them up with a file. Just stick them in your vise or clamp them to a table and then just file the edges smooth again. I have an old flexible scraper that I use to clean the deck underneath here. It's real thin, so it'll get under this and knock this off. This one is really good shape. There's not much buildup on it. I don't recommend a stiff metal scraper because it's too easy to scratch the paint on your deck. If you have a plastic one, if you do this anytime during the summer, this will be a lot softer and easier to get out of here. You can clean up the bottom of your deck if you want. This one here, there's hardly any buildup on it, so it's not really a big deal. As long as you don't see any rust holes or stuff like that, you know, this one is looking in good shape. All right, any questions on that? Okay, the oil is completely drained out of it, so I'm going to go ahead and set it back up, and then we'll do the rest of the replacing the items. Toro's mower maintenance kits have the proper amount of oil that you need to put back in your engine. Single cylinder motors don't require a full quart of oil. In fact, it depends on the motor. And if you don't buy the kit, you'll have to go back to the operator's manual and figure out how much they actually use. Some use 12 ounces, some use 16 ounces, some use 17 ounces. This Toro motor uses 18 ounces, which is about just a little over half a quart of oil. If you buy your own oil and put it in, say Mobil 1 or something like that, make for sure that you don't put the whole quart in. Put about half the quart in, and then in this motor, put about half the quart in, and then check it with the dipstick and tweak it. You want the oil to start out at the high mark. Can you see that? On this one, there's 2 holes. You want it to start out on the high hole. That means that you've got enough oil in it. Okay? Let's put this in. I use a funnel because my hand wants to shake once in a while. And go slow, because even if you're putting it in the regular hole, the hole is smaller on the bottom than it is on the top, so it'll bubble out on you. Take your time. And when you're done, make sure you put your cap in and lock it. So let's do the air cleaner next. So there are 2 parts to your air cleaner. The air cleaner itself, which is a paper element, and then a pre-cleaner. The pre-cleaner just goes over top. I can't. I'm trying to reach around the camera here. This is a pain in the butt. Anyway, pre-cleaner just goes around, and the pre-cleaner keeps dirt and twigs and leaves and stuff from clogging up that paper filter, so your paper filter lasts a lot longer. You can take this outside cover off anytime you want, clean it, and you can actually wash it. I'd wash it with Dawn or something like that if it's got oil spots in it. And then squeeze it out really well so it dries fast. So that's the new one. That's what we're going to put in. Here's your air cleaner right here. They're pretty much the same spot on every place. And sometimes you'll have another nut right here that you have to unscrew. This one, it just slides off. And if you notice, the original one doesn't have a pre-cleaner. And this one's probably got 50 hours on it. And it has been pretty dusty around here. It was last summer. So if I pound this, dust will come out of it. I'm not going to do it here. You can throw that away. It's trash. Take and look down here and see if there's any dirt or debris or anything. Sometimes this will be really dirty, depending on if you did fall leaves or anything like that. So once you get this on, get the old one off, all you have to do is put it back on again. For you guys doing an actual Time Master, this air cleaner has a grommet in it that's so you can use it on a different carburetor. So you take that out, put that on this one. And just push it right down there until it's tight. Put your cover back on, that's good to go. One last thing to really look at is we're going to change the spark plug on this. All right, I'm not going to go through the process of changing the plug. Take your boot off, take your old plug out, and put the new spark plug back in. When I put it back in, there's one little thing I want to show you. Take a look at your plug. You'll probably notice that your plug, it'll have a little dark coloring on it. If it has oil dripping on it, or if it's got chunks of black stuff around the edges, I suggest taking the engine to your dealer and have him inspect it to see if you got problems with it or not. Normally you don't see any problems with your spark plug unless the engine is blowing smoke or something is going wrong with it. So these plugs last a lot longer than what you expect in here. Everybody recommends that you change them at least once a year, but they're really good for at least 50 to 100 hours. So, all right, when you put your new plug back in, there's a washer right here, and it's called a compression washer. So you go ahead and you put your spark plug back in, and then once it's tight, you take and you turn it another 1/8 to 1/4 turn, and that compresses that compression washer. So then everything is sealed up and ready to go. Okay, once you get your plug in, put your spark plug boot back on and press it all the way down, because the connection is inside the 90-degree part here. That's it. Go ahead and put fresh fuel in it and start it up and see how it goes. I'm not going to do that with this machine yet because I don't have any summer fuel around here yet. I still have the winter blend. Feel free to leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please like it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Down